monde. Good afternoon, everyone. I thought that I was going to be coming here to say there's no new news on tariffs this week until yesterday when the President of the United States decided to add a 25% tariff to automobiles made outside of the U.S., which certainly impacts Canada. Alors, il y a des choses à discuter aujourd'hui, pas seulement ça, mais je vais commencer là. Alors, le président a mis des tarifs sur les automobiles hors des États-Unis et ça va sembler que peut-être ça n'impacte pas le Nouveau-Brunswick tellement, mais la réalité, c'est que ça va avoir un impact sur l'Ontario. Clearly, Ontario is Canada's leader in manufacturing and exporting automobiles. And I think, as David Campbell has said, when Ontario sneezes, New Brunswick gets a cold. They are our second largest provincial trading partner. And so when the Ontario economy is reduced or struggling, that has an impact here. Businesses in New Brunswick should be aware that if they are supplying into the automobile industry or affected by the impact that this is going to have on Ontario, our team's tariff relief package is available to you. So the programs that we put in place, and I'll describe them a little bit later, those exist to help businesses through this tariff war. And if the tariff war has now moved to automobiles in Ontario, then as that impacts New Brunswick businesses and workers, the programs are there to support you. The other one that I want to touch on that was the new tariff as of last week, but I want to provide some updated information on, is the Chinese tariff on seafood. I appreciate that there's been perspectives shared from New Brunswickers about what we should take off of Chinese tariffs, and those are being discussed with the federal government. There is a broader global reason for some of the choice of Chinese tariffs in relation both to the U.S. and others, mais le support est encore là. Alors pour ceux ici à Nouveau-Brunswick, c'est plutôt notre industrie de fruits de mer qui voit l'impact des tarifs chinois. Le gouvernement fédéral a annoncé la semaine dernière qu'ils vont avoir des supports pour ceux qui sont impactés d'une façon négative des tarifs chinois. So what the federal government has said is that they will be providing income supports to fishers and farmers impacted by the 25% Chinese tariffs on canola oil and seafood. And the provincial government's tariff relief package that includes funds to support the seafood sector through our Atlantic Fisheries Fund is also there available to support you through this period. And that's a DAF-led program of grants to help companies, big and small. So I know there are some small processors and fishers that think that this might not be for them, but you can be a small fisherman in New Brunswick, and if your customer base has just been impacted in China and that's impacting your price or your sales, then the Atlantic Fisheries Fund and the team at DAF is here to support you. La troisième chose que je vais parler, c'est du support pour les municipalités. Moi, j'étais avec l'équipe de municipalité hier. I had the pleasure of being with a room full of mayors and councillors with the Union of Municipalities yesterday, talking about many things, including tariffs. And there are many municipalities concerned about the impact of tariffs on their communities, and not just border communities, but also communities that are wondering about the increased cost for them of purchasing products that may be on the import tariffs list. So we wanted to reassure those communities that within our tariff relief package, there are funds to support the companies, the municipalities, the organizations that see an impact to the tariffs, and that sits with RDC. And there's also a remission process. So if you're exposed to an import tariff that Canada has placed on a good that's critical for your municipality, because we're collecting those funds as Canada, you can have those funds remitted to you to cover the additional cost of that purchase. And the federal government has reassured us that that remissions process will be very timely. And if you reach out to our team here, we can help walk you through that process. Alors, je veux rassurer les municipalités qu'il y a des supports pour eux autres aussi dans notre plan pour répondre aux tarifs. Alors, je vais juste faire un petit résumé de notre plan parce qu'on a parlé un petit peu des tarifs sur les automobiles des États-Unis, les tarifs chinois et les demandes des municipalités. So I'll remind everybody that we announced a $162 million five-part tariff relief package that started off with supports for workers, people who see their jobs or their hours impacted by tariffs. that there's supports through PEDAL to help you through any disruption in your employment. And then we have the programs to support businesses impacted by tariffs. And so there's a working capital program to help if your revenues are taking a hit because of a decrease in purchases, in this case because of the steel and aluminum tariffs and the costs that those will put on your business. There is also our competitiveness and trade diversification and productivity package. So the team at Opportunities New Brunswick is there to support you as you look to invest in your business to become more productive and as you look to reach some new markets all over the world. And we are seeing an increase in demand and interest from places like Japan and other countries. So it's a really great opportunity to get together with ONB and other New Brunswick businesses and take this opportunity to find some of those new markets and countries that really want to support Canada at a time like this and want some of the best products that are made in this country, which are made here in New Brunswick. The next piece of our plan is our interprovincial trade barriers work. So I continue to be engaged around the national table, particularly last Friday in Ottawa for another First Ministers meeting, talking about how New Brunswick is leading the way on labor mobility and how we have recognized that any Canadian credential earned in another province in Canada is going to be recognized here in New Brunswick and that those people can get to work the first day that they arrive in our province, and that'll help our businesses and our economy move quickly because there's a lot of time spent in that wait and red tape and cost to get the person that you need on the job for the project that you're trying to deliver. There's also the work that we're doing with the other provinces in Atlantic Canada and with the rest of the country to take down the regulatory barriers that add cost and challenge to doing business in Canada. Alors, on continue ce travail. Je suis encore encouragée de les commentaires de Nouvelle-Écosse, de Québec, des autres provinces, d'éliminer les barrières entre notre province, les barrières, je m'excuse, entre nos provinces pour améliorer l'accès au nouveau marché pour le Nouveau-Brunswick, mais l'accès aux clients autour du Canada. What have I got? So workers, revenues, trade and competitiveness, interprovincial trade barriers. The last one I want to mention, and I'm going to mention this every time, is our focus on New Brunswick-made products and buying local. I know I don't need to encourage you to do that because you have been doing it in spades, New Brunswick, and I want to say thank you for that. J'apprécie énormément chaque fois j'entends d'une entreprise ici au Nouveau-Brunswick qui me dit que leurs achats locaux ont monté en vigueur et qu'ils voient de plus en plus d'opportunités avec des clients locaux et aussi autour du Canada. Ça fait une différence. Acheter des produits du Canada, acheter des produits du Nouveau-Brunswick et même vraiment arrêter d'acheter des produits des États-Unis comme on l'a fait ici au gouvernement. Ça fait une différence. We are hearing that it is starting to be noticed in the U.S. that we have stopped going there, we have stopped our bookings there, we have stopped buying their products, and we've even stopped supplying some of our goods to them, and it's starting to destabilize and create rumblings from the United States. And so it's working. Keep doing it. Buy New Brunswick made, and thank you for that. The last piece I want to talk about is next week. We expect news from Washington on the tariffs on April 2nd. The best information I have right now, and I will say with a caveat that it changes every few days, as we saw yesterday, but we are optimistic that we will not be faced with a 25% tariff across our economy, but rather a tariff at a reduced rate on a reduced list of goods. What that reduced rate is, I can't say. I could guesstimate 10%, 15%, but less than 25%. What that reduced list of goods is, at this point we're looking at steel and aluminum and auto imports. We anticipate more things will be added, but it's some measure of progress that it will be less than 25% and less than all goods that come from Canada. Alors ça, c'est qu'est-ce qu'on imagine va venir à ce point, mais peut-être ça va changer. Nous avons de l'optimisme parce que le travail de l'ambassadrice Hillman est un travail fort et on voit que le premier ministre et le ministre Leblanc continuent des conversations. Nous autres, on continue nos conversations avec des gouverneurs, puis des sénateurs, puis d'autres mondes, des mondes de chefs d'affaires aux États-Unis qui, un petit peu par petit peu, voient l'impact de ces tarifs sur leur État puis leur entreprise. Alors, on a un petit peu d'optimisme que qu'est-ce qui va venir le 2 avril ne va pas être le plus pire possible, mais on est prêt. So, because I'm going to be in Toronto next Thursday selling New Brunswick to people that want to invest in our province and our economy here, and because we expect the news to come out on Wednesday of next week, I'm going to be doing this weekly update next Wednesday. The time is not yet confirmed, sometime probably between 2 and 4 in the afternoon, depending on when we get the news from Washington. And then certainly Team Canada and the First Ministers are looking to get together quite quickly after we get the word from Washington to prepare what our response looks like and finalize what those actions, additional actions in terms of retaliatory tariffs, additional actions in terms of other impacts to the U.S. will be. So you won't see me here next Thursday, but plan for Wednesday afternoon. And as soon as we get news from Washington, we will be here with you to let you know how New Brunswick's response is changing and what else is happening. Je vais vous rassurer qu'on va être ici à chaque semaine, mais la semaine prochaine, ça va pas être le jeudi, ça va être le mercredi, après qu'on sait qu'est-ce qui va être la réalité des tarifs, qu'on pense à ce moment qu'ils vont être réduits de 25% sur moins que toute la liste de toute la couverture de notre économie. Mais après qu'on a ces nouvelles, puis peut-être après une rencontre où on va s'essayer de réunir comme l'équipe du Canada, on va être ici pour partager avec vous. So I want to let you know that with the automobile tariffs, you can access our tariff relief package. With the Chinese tariffs, you can access our tariff relief package. Municipalities who are seeing impacts can access our tariff relief package. The team here at GNB is ready to take your calls and make sure we have the flexible support to get you through this, and then keep buying New Brunswick made and buying local, and we will get through this storm and be stronger on the other side.